violence, combat, competition. It's in our blood. It's in our nature to test our skills and seek out victory by any means necessary. You are about to witness a competition like no other. 36 amateur fighters in 3 weight classes will do battle in a grueling league, fighting for points and a chance to be crowned champion. With so many variables, few things are certain. One will rise, many will fall, and no one's getting paid. With 2 fights down, the top talents in the heavyweight division are beginning to emerge. Will one of these journeys be derailed when 2 early favorites are matched up? Competition. It's in our blood. And tonight, that blood will be spilled as these warriors fight to survive among the global MEGAfist 12.
We are live yet again from the Nougaty Center in Branson, Missouri. This is the only place we can possibly get away with this level of action, this level of excitement, and this level of unpaid, unmitigated violence. Hello everyone, this is the Global MEGAfist 12. We are up to episode 7, somehow not shut down, and we focus on the heavyweights today. As we have the third fight of these 12 heavyweights at 206 and above. My name is Derek Osceola, joined as always by Lucille Cramblethorne. Can't believe this is still going on. Can't believe this hasn't been shut down. Can't believe we got some great fights tonight.
Well, it's gonna, pardon me, Derek, lung scraping from that last week's incident with Florislava's asbestos shorts got me a little rough. But yeah, great set of fights we got on deck. Heavyweights always entertain. They're big, they get tired easily, and when you get tired, you get knocked out easy. So I'm looking forward to a lot of quick knockouts in this one.
We're gonna see how that pans out. We've got a full card, all 6. Well, of course we have all 6, but we have all 12 heavyweights in action tonight. The third of their 5 group stage battles, and we're starting to see them take shape quickly. Get over the rules. We'll go over the rules of the Global MEGAfist 12 for you. It's 3 rounds. Every fight is 3 rounds, 2.5 minutes long. That's 150 seconds, as you'll see in the lower left-hand corner on that clock as it counts down. Not a lot of time to get your work done. A 10-point must scoring system. You know the rest of the rules. And, of course, that is how everything will shake up when we get to it. Our big main event is this one, a battle of 2-0 fighters. They've both done their work. They've both done their work in the second round for both fights. That's why they're both on 10 points. It's Fritz Milgram and Lil 42 the Answer. One of them's going to take sole possession of first place in Group A.
Absolutely. These 2 guys have been on a tear. It looks like their skin around the eyes are tearing apart. Milgram just coursing with electricity. Lil 42 coursing with all sorts of controlled substances. This fight is going to be outstanding.
I can't tell if those are tattoos or just took a Sharpie to it, or if those are, especially that one across the forehead. I don't know. I don't care to understand. It's fine. Look, it's going to be a great fight. Both of these competitors, 42 the Answer, got a TKO and a knockout victory. Fritz Milgram, 2 TKO victories, both in the second round, all 4 wins in the second round. And they have not taken out light competitors. They are going to do battle in our final fight. One of them is going to go 3-0, and we're going to find out who it's going to be. But sticking with that group, we've got a battle between 3rd and 4th place. Lonnie Fescue takes on the all-seeing Zoltan as the lawn dad who maybe has eyes in the back of his head when it comes to his children. faces the man with that elusive third eye that can see through the future. It's going to be an interesting battle. Both are coming off of Feskew's coming off of a loss. Zoltan coming off his first win. It's going to be interesting to see how the momentum swings in this one.
Absolutely, Zoltan's riding a little bit of momentum. Fescue, he suffered defeat, but as it always has been, the Lon's going to need mode, and Lonnie's going to need to put hands on another man, and I think he's going to turn things around in this fight.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's the nice thing. I always say the grass is always greener. Well, it's going to be on the other side to see how that works. When that happens, I don't understand what any of that I just said meant, but nonetheless, our third fight in Group A, two fighters looking for, well, they'd like to turn over a new leaf, perhaps. Nicholas Polka and Wanderin Mo Volt. One of them's going to drop to 0-3. The other will get their first win. We presume, of course, a draw always possible. But these two are at this point are going to have to try to avoid that drop of being in last place and being eliminated from the Global MEGAfist 12 were it to continue next year.
Yeah, this is a true do-or-die, make-or-break fight for both of these men. God, don't they just look sad as hell, though?
Yeah, I was going to say that I would wonder if these photos were taken recently or if they were just the same photos we used, but yeah, there's just a bit of a dire situation, almost a premonition. It's almost as if the all-seeing Zoltan perhaps informed them that come episode 7, they'd both be fighting one another, both at 0-2, so someone's O has to go. Usually we say that about an undefeated, but nonetheless, it's gonna be affecting the same way. We look over to Group B, and this is going to be a fight that people have been talking about. Oliver Lehman has just been on a tear, has defeated fighters in the first round both times. He got a TKO win over Damian Adder, a TKO win over Dan Rodenta, both in the first round. He takes on Gabe Donaghy, who got an impressive second round submission also over Damian Adder in episode 4. An intriguing battle, I think. Can Lehman be stopped, I think, is the question we're asking at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen in MMA. Anything can happen doubly so in amateur MMA, but Lehman right now, after his first two fights, is looking, quite frankly, too big to fail.
That's fair enough. The debt collector, the banker, he is absolutely looking like he is not going to need any sort of parachute payment here, which is a good thing because there is no payment involved. But I think he'll have his work cut out for Donaghy. We go over to another intriguing matchup. Dan Rodenta taking on Dr. Igor Tonic. And Lucille, Dr. Igor Tonic is someone you've been very high on, I think not just from his fighting skill, but from his ability to, I think he was able to treat our asbestos poisoning. He called it asbestos poisoning. I certainly hope he was just, assuming the worst and not saying that we were actually poisoned.
Yeah, I'm thinking he cured it. I mean, it's amazing what he can do with something that tastes exactly like a nice cold glass of Sunny Delight. But Tonic, inside and outside of this octagonal cage-like structure, has been impressive.
No doubt about that. That's 2 wins. One of them a knockout in the first round of Gabe Donaghy, and he got a submission win in the second round over Guff Magnuson. But Dan Rodenta, again, lost to Oliver Lehman. That's his only blemish on the record. He showed up and got a big win over Guff Magnuson as well. This is going to be an interesting one because the winner could be poised to make a big jump up into Group B. And on the other side of that coin, we also have, we have a couple of 0-2 fighters who, again, make or break situation for them. Guff Magnuson, Damian Adder, a couple names we've said a couple times already tonight, mostly about being on the losing side. They've shown a lot. They've shown a lot of promise in their fights, but it's gonna have to be time to turn that promise into action.
Absolutely. Both men have been used as sort of stepping stones to help right other fighters, perhaps flailing careers here at Global MEGAfist 12. And I think, nobody wants to continue being a stepping stone unless there's some kind of weird fetish you're into that involves boot prints on your face.
Not to my knowledge. I don't think, I think the closest thing we got is the snakeskin boots of Damian Adder, and he might not even be too kind to that idea, as he is a man of the snakes. However, we've got a man of the squirrels coming up to get things started. Dan Rodenta and Dr. Igor Tonic. That fight is coming up right now. Igor Tonic. Don't mind the taste. He's very good at masking the taste of his elixirs, his tonics, his serums. Taste like, common juice-based drinks, but believe me, the healing is there. We're approaching the end of summertime, unofficially over after Labor Day. Summer's getting quickly concluding, and we get into fall. It's going to be foraging season for Dan Rodenta. He's going to look to forage himself a victory. We head to the tail of the tape. And, it's going to be an interesting one for these two. Tonic definitely has the height, weight, and reach advantage. That subway order really will be the deciding factor. Interesting, Dan Rodenta only going for sun chips.
Well, it makes sense. I think he can just scrounge up, a few dimes here and there, and that's not going to get you a full sandwich in this economy.
I imagine the sun chips also can just be shared among the squirrels. It's easier for them to carry in their bulging cheeks.
Absolutely.
Italian BMT, the option for Tonic. And here we go. A lot of dark, filthy colors. Brown for Rodenta. The smooth black, almost like their leggings for Tonic. And we start out with a stand-up battle here.
Yeah, big size advantage for Tonic. He's got to use that. Not let Rodenta scramble in close and get a hold of him. But he just got dropped.
That was a huge uppercut, and Rodenta showing he's got the nuts to get inside and really trying to crack open the guard of Tonic. It seems to be the best strategy right now. He's giving up a lot of weight, a lot of height, and a lot of reach.
Guys are very similar size when it comes to someone on their back. It negates a lot of those advantages.
And Rodenta is really just going for anything right now. He's hammering. He's got a very good strategy. He takes mount on Tonic. Oh, a big left hand and a hammer fist to follow.
Tonic looking to buck Rodenta off of him, but the Squirrel Man's hips are just too solid. You gotta have good solid hips to scramble up a big live oak, a creaky pine. It's gonna be hard for Tonic to completely get Rodenta's hips off of him.
Yeah, his grip strength has to be astounding if he's able to, like you said, scale trees like that. I mean, I've only seen squirrels, attach themselves to humans, fighting and such in cartoons, but those pesky squirrels tend to just be holding on for dear life. I can only imagine that's how real life works. And we're seeing a bit of a clinch battle, and Tonic trying to use that size by pushing Rodenta against the cage and land a knee. 25 seconds to go.
Yep. Yeah, Tonic is probably trying to clear the cobwebs a little bit. If he can make it to the end of the round, I'm sure he's got some sort of salve that can easily clear cobwebs, as long as he's, brought his necessary equipment in his bag.
Fair enough there, and that is is an interesting. Oh, and there we go. Another. He gets something right at the end of the round, and
Big shots at the end.
I have to wonder if Tonic was starting to turn the tide with about 15 more seconds, 30 more seconds. Would he have been taking control of this round? I'd have to say maybe too little too late. I'd give it to Rodenta.
Yeah, I have to give that round to Rodenta. You know, he did so much work early on and had Tonic in all sorts of trouble. But a very, very good round from both individuals.
No doubt about it. We are seeing the replays here of round one. Rodenta had a couple of chances to, and a couple of opportunities to really bring this one to a close. He had that mound, that big left hand just cracked Tonic right in the jaw. He couldn't, and I guess it was just a matter of instinct for Tonic. See if his cornermen could help apply any of the salves, ointments.
Let's fight.
Here we go. Second round of this one. I have to imagine Rodenta's going to want to go for more of the same. Oh, clocks him right in the with a big right hook.
Big punches from Rodenta. Tonic is not using his size advantage very well at all. I think he's wanting to get in close and use his power, but that's just opening himself up to Rodenta's, much quicker, twitchier attacks.
No doubt about that. This is not the kind of fight I think we would expect based on the size and the frame of these two. Rodenta's moving much better. He's moving in, throwing his strikes, moving out. He's changing his entire strategy from that first round. I don't know if he wants to get into a slugfest like this.
Yeah, I've got to wonder if Tonic might have gotten a double meat footlong BMT and he's just a little sluggish.
True. I don't know if that was a Subway order, like literally this weekend. I think it might have been for catering. We get whatever information we are able to get on these fighters. I imagine there was a Subway order that was taken, probably at the press conferences or at the weigh-ins. And another big couple of punches from Rodenta. He is just swarming, but he's not capitalizing as Tonic was covering up.
This is a fantastic fight. Tonic has been in trouble a lot, but he's got the constitution to just weather some of these storms from Rodenta. But
taste the beat. Oh my God!
Oh my God! Just as we mentioned it. Good God!
Well, there has got to be some sort of. Well, I gotta hope that smelling salts are in the kit of Dr. Igor Tonic. But for Dan Rodenta, we're gonna see it again. I think, it just came around. I think Dan Rodenta just kind of snuck that punch inside the guard. Usually we hear about it coming around the guard. He got it right to the temple.
And those follow-up punches on the ground were excessive, and that's what we like here at Global MEGAfist.
Absolutely unnecessary, and I'm sure there is a certain most glorious and honorable Mr. Naga that is smiling somewhere, and I'm giving a minor fist pump of delight to see Dan Rodenta move up to 2-1 in the group. And as far as it comes with, he's just behind Dr. Igor Tonic on points. But as far as records go, they are tied at 2-1. Coming up next, we're going to jump over to Group A as a battle of the beleaguered. Polka and Volt. Someone's got to win, right?
We hope.
Volt. Again, maybe he can channel the energy of the cancellation of Woodstock 50. Maybe he can actually channel that into some anger and rage tonight. jolly he is. But he'd like to turn his ho-ho-ho and keep it away from being an oh, as in I'm in pain. Nicholas Polka, well, we've seen him, he's lost by TKO twice. And he takes on Wandering Mo Bolt at the tail of the tape. And, well, that's some interesting stats we see there. Height and reach, identical. Weight, very close. Again, comes down to that Subway order.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised Bolt didn't also go for the Sun Chips order. That seems like to be something right up his alley.
Well, maybe it is. We don't know. His only answer was, I'm usually high at Subway. So that could mean anything. He doesn't remember what he usually orders.
Fair enough.
That doesn't tell me what we brought him either, if we were getting any sort of order.
And you know, in some of the earlier episodes, I made mention of Polka's. You know, I don't know if he's the lightest heavyweight on the roster, but he's definitely one of them. And that lesser mass to his frame has really hampered his ability to take some of these heavyweight punches.
Yeah, usually when we talk about professionals, especially in boxing and even in mixed martial arts, those guys who have to cut down to the 265 in MMA, or the guys who carry on a little bit of extra weight in other combat sports at heavyweight, just because there's no high-end maximum, doesn't necessarily mean that's for the best. However, at the amateur level, probably want to just do that just to be safe.
Absolutely.
Bit of clinching.
Yeah, good underhooks from Bolt. He gives that up though. He's looking for the collar tie.
Looking to put anything. Oh, big right hook just hits him right on the temple. And Polka's down.
Oh my god.
Polka's down. This could be it already. I don't know if that's going to be. Oh my god, it's already over.
Oh, the elves. This man needs another break.
Well, I think something might have broken at this point, as Wandering Mo Volt is really amped. He is very, very excited to know that is a big victory. That is what victory tastes like. That is 6 big points. And even though he's only 1 and 2, when it comes down to it, those points for that early first round victory may matter. Comprehensive victory. I don't know where it is to go now for Nicholas Polka other than the North Pole.
Yeah, it's bad out there for this amateur fighter, professional Santa.
Well, Santa, sadly, well, at the very least, when the holiday season, when the Global MEGAfist season ends, the holiday season will begin, and he will happily find himself at yet another mall, with yet another line full of people. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing for him, well, still left to be decided. Coming up next, we're going to have another situation back into Group B action. Guff Magnuson, Damian Adder. Someone is going to notch their first victory, and by proxy, putting their opponent down 0-3. That fight is coming up. And right now, we want to let you guys know that if you are new to Global MEGAfist 12, or if you're just confused by all these rules and just came here to see a bunch of amateur, untrained people punching and kicking each other until one of them stops moving, then we should probably let you know that there's actually a format to this, and there's a whole tournament, and we're going to explain that right now.
The Global MEGAfist 12 is a grueling competition like nothing ever seen before in mixed martial arts. First, the 12 fighters are drawn at random into 2 groups of 6 fighters each. Each fighter will face off against the other 5 in their group. A win is worth 3 points, while a draw is worth 1. In addition, bonus points are awarded for how fast a fight is won. Winning in the 3rd round is worth 4 total points, a 2nd round win is worth 5, and finishing a fight in the 1st round gets you 6 points in all. After all 5 rounds of competition, the 2 fighters who finish in last place are relegated from Global MEGAfist 12 and must earn their way back in next season. They will be replaced by 2 fighters from the Hyperfist qualifying tournament. The 2 5th-place fighters will be matched up against 2 more fighters from the Hyperfist qualifiers, with the winners earning their spot in next season's Global MEGAfist 12. The top 2 fighters from each group advance to the semifinals, where the first-place fighter from each group will take on the second-place fighter from the other. The winners of these fights will do battle for the championship. It all comes down to one thing: win, and win fast. And the title of Global MEGAfist 12 champion awaits.
Lover of snakes, care for snakes. He'll suck out the poison if he has to. Damian Adder, the man of the snakes, snake of the people, the man of the snake. We like snakes. As he makes his appearance, Guff Magnuson, beloved security guard at the elementary school, swears to protect children and serve children. Guff Magnuson, a true patriot, is actually at a bit of a disadvantage. He gives up the, he's got the weight advantage, which might matter, but decides to go for the double meat versus the veggies on flatbread for Adder. Of course he would. Also noted that Adder tries to eat the entire thing in one bite.
It's commendable, but it's not the wisest choice, I would have to say.
Yeah, at least if he eats in the subway, they're there to give him the Heimlich. But he certainly just tries to just push it down and swallow it like a snake would. But has to be reminded that I think if it goes to a regular subway that he's pretty common at, they already know to cut it up so he doesn't choke on it again.
Yeah.
Veggies on flatbread, a little tough to cut up into bite-sized morsels. And going for the whole bite is Guff Magnuson, landing the first takedown of this fight.
Nice reversal from Adder, but he himself gets reversed in the process. Let's see if the Snake Man can use his long limbs to tie up Magnuson.
Now, this may look like skillful grappling. I can assure you this is mostly just rolling about and neither of them really knowing necessarily. Oh, and he probably has used that on at least a child once or twice. Guff Magnuson slamming the Snake Man to the ground.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of these reversals are just, you can tell with an experienced eye, a lot of panicked flailing, but that takedown was something Magnuson has done before. You can tell that from the glee in his eye as he picked up Adder, looking for that big slam.
I think he can probably do that with at least 2 children on one shoulder, as I'm sure he's had to break up a fight or 2 in the elementary school. And there's nothing that breaks up a fight between 2 rambunctious youngsters than to slam them hard into the cold linoleum floor.
I believe Rambunctious Youngster is going to be featured on Lil 42 The Answer's upcoming mixtape.
Well, I hope he says it a lot better than I do. That's the only thing I can hope for. I don't have promise for that man, but the man at least can fight. So we will be seeing him in our main event. Fritz Milgram, Lil 42 The Answer, sixth of 6 fights tonight. Getting close to the end of the first round. It's been Magnuson on top, but here comes Adder with a triangle attempt.
Yeah, he's got those, like I said, those long limbs wrapped around Magnuson's head, but
Like coiling for something.
looks like there's a decent bit of space. I don't think he's pulling down the head enough. Not that he really knows to do that. He's kind of just has his legs around Magnuson's head.
Again, just trying for something. If nothing else, Magnuson had his arm in the way, looking to just not be face full of groin, I suppose. That's mostly an embarrassment. Preventative measure, but interesting, very action-packed first round.
Yeah, I think Magnuson took that just for time spent on top. Neither man really landed a ton, but Magnuson was on top and landed a little bit of ground and pound, so I'd give him the slight edge.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily a striking battle. I think the minute it went to the ground, that was the takedown that basically set everything in motion. And it looked like Adder was comfortable just working off that ground. He tried to go for what looked like a triangle choke.
Hey, look it. Just score. All you need
Which is fairly interesting because I don't think most snakes are comfortable being flipped onto their backs, but Adder certainly, with the benefit of arms and legs, has a little more options in terms of offense and defense.
Let's go,
I think the
guys.
snakes would refer to that as a self-righting mechanism that they themselves do not have. And Magnuson goes right to the takedown yet again. But Adder has proven this is not a foreign land to him. This is somewhere he is comfortable being. Magnuson has to show a little bit more guff, if you will, and he just gets thrown off that almost mounted position.
Yeah, easy reversal for Adder. Got a lot of leverage with his legs. He's looking to pass. Manages to get to side control, but Guff is recovering. Again, it's impressive how much this panicked flailing by these two amateurs looks so similar to mid-level grappling from trained individuals.
No doubt about that. I think it's an idea of playing up to the level of your opponent, and that is just, it's the only way they know to do, is because they both are roughly at the same level, a very low one, but nonetheless the same level. And again, we can't forget that even though these submissions that they would attempt may not be the nicest looking or the most effective, again, if you're not that capable, you may not be that capable in knowing how to escape or knowing when you're able to get out of it. So we might see an easier tap out than we expect as well. Looks like there's a cut underneath the eye of Guff Magnuson. I don't know where that came from.
I think Adder landed one or maybe two punches when he had that top position briefly, but Magnuson is bleeding a little bit.
Sharp reptilian-like skin, I imagine. It's just leather. Maybe it's snakeskin leather. And oh, there's a knee. That will definitely open up a cut if there wasn't one already.
Absolutely.
Adder going for that. He's definitely smelling blood or doing whatever snakes can do. I don't know if snakes have a sense of smell, but sensing blood. Magnuson goes for it again.
I think some can smell blood or maybe sense heat of their prey. It's been a while since I've read my zoo books on snakes.
Fair enough. Well, again, Magnuson, I think he went in for a little elbow. I don't know if that got a little bit of blood coming off of onto the mat, and I don't know if that's from Adder or if there's just a little bit of bruising and swelling, but I think Magnuson saw that he was bleeding and wanted to return the favor.
You good? Okay, he's tired. His legs are tired.
I imagine Magnuson is very much an eye for an eye type of security guard.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, if one child breaks another child's toy, he then breaks that initial child's toy in retaliation just to make things even.
It's not always the best solution, but it is. Well, it may not always be the most fair solution, but it is a solution, and it gets, if nothing else, it gets both of them crying, which puts them both on even footing yet again. And we're seeing this was a knee right to the jaw. Oh, it just came up, and Magnuson took a lot of punishment in that round, and the fact that he is still able to continue fighting after those two strikes, he dove in with the punch. I didn't even see that.
I think that might have dislocated Magnuson's jaw, much like a snake. Being able to swallow perhaps an entire sandwich from Subway would do.
Let's go, guys.
I think that would mean, well, at that point, I think either Magnuson could swallow an entire Subway sandwich, or he'd need it blended because his jaw would be wired shut. But what we're seeing is he's going for that triangle choke again. I don't know if this is just instinct or Magnuson is just, he's sinking it in, and Magnuson is tapped.
That could be pressure on that jaw. Magnuson's arm was across his own face, shoving into his own jaw. That could have been more pain than a actual blood choke.
Fair enough. Well, I think just the pressure of it, he did in fact constrict the jaw. I mean, if that jaw is dislocated or if there's any damage to it, and that's got to just hurt, just pushing it into, just applying that pressure. I mean, I can only imagine, and it might just be, well, hopefully for Magnuson there'll be an ice cream social at the elementary school, or he can just go into the cafeteria and get some ice cream, apply it to his face, or that'll be all he'll be able to eat for a while. But Damian Adder gets things started with 4 points, enough to move him, for the time being, into 5th place.
Well, at least he's above Guff Magnuson.
That he is. Guff Magnuson, 0-3, drops to last place. We head back over to Group A, a battle between 3rd and 4th. Lonnie Fescue, the all-seeing Zoltan. One of them could definitely put themselves into prime position after this one. He has now banned the question from all press conferences of, do you know how this fight is going to end? And that's probably fair. But the all-seeing Zoltan is pointing at his head. He knows how to do this. He's got eyes everywhere. In our very first episode was one of the most impressive competitors, scored a 44-second TKO victory. He fell to Fritz Milgram in a spirited effort. This is the time for him to make that charge and prove that he can be the Lawn King and potentially a king of Group A by making it out of this group stage. There we see the tail of the tape. Virtually identical, a 5-pound weight difference. That's about it, I'd imagine.
Yeah, the only thing that stands out to me is I kind of want to know what fresh inventive item Subway's rolling out that Zoltan's able to get his hands on.
Well, yeah, I think he always just. I think it's actually banned him from several Subways for requesting an item, and immediately the place goes into a panic, thinking that someone has spilled the beans. One time it was actually a spilled bean hoagie or sub sandwich, but yes, it was caused a lot of problems at local Subways.
Yeah. And he well scouted that takedown attempt from Fescue and is just landing some good punches.
That he is, and it's only 30 seconds into this fight. Again, you have to work fast, 150 seconds to work with each round. Only 2.5 minutes if your math is a little on the slow side. Fescue, I mean, a lot of time on his back. He had more of a stand-up battle with Milgram in his loss, but we're seeing he's forced to work on the defensive side. usually we're not seeing him being. Usually he's on top. He's the one controlling the opponent like the grass. He's becoming the grass himself. I guess it's like Bruce Lee saying become like water. He's becoming like lawn.
But the only thing lawn typically does is get cut, so Feskew's got to really be aware of that fact, and not just in terms of getting his face lacerated, but just, you know, getting torn to shreds and disposed of in this competition.
He seems to have got it up to standing, and he's grown. He's taking care of. He's looking to go for something. Up in the strike with Zoltan. Again, they match each other pretty close in height, and definitely they match each other in reach. And Zoltan just takes it to the ground once more.
Nice work from Zoltan with that. Just all his groundwork so far has been pretty solid.
He's gonna be a tough weed to pluck for Lonnie Fescue, who is nonetheless has taken mount, and this is a good position to have, but albeit a little too late, and just loses it immediately. Just doesn't know how to sink in the hips and apply that pressure. It's been Zoltan's round. Fescue has been on the defensive. And as we head to the end of the first round and round 2 coming up, Lucille, what does Fescue have to do to change this up?
Well, I think it's tough. He didn't have a ton of success anywhere. He struggled with his takedowns. I think he might have been on a riding lawnmower a little bit more than a push mower, and he just doesn't have that same drive in his hips and his legs to complete these takedowns. You know, he got one or two, but Zoltan was able to shrug off a couple more. So it was a tough first round for Fescue. Absolutely
right. That is an interesting way to look at it. You know, you got to wonder if the cardio is a little suspect. Again, these fighters have to go back to their daily lives, and for Lonnie Fescue, that means a lot of lawn care. Maybe he was riding the lawnmower a little bit. After coming off a loss, he may have just needed to recover a little bit. Again, they've only fought 3 weeks ago. Although they do get a bit of a break after this fight, so they do get a little bit more recovery time. We'll get onto that later when we review when the next episode for the heavyweights will be. Episode 10 will be in October. Zoltan, and they're opting for a stand-up battle. I think Zoltan might be should look for that takedown again. He's done so well in the first round. This is now becoming a slugfest.
Yeah, but I mean, Zoltan did really well standing and on the ground. It's kind of whatever he wants to do to Fescue is open to him. As I say that, he eats a pretty solid hook, but he just defended another takedown, so it's
good sprawl, and he goes right into the guard of Fescue. And we're back to where he was before. This is very interesting.
Cheap mount, but gets reversed by Fescue. This is a good fight. These guys both want to get that second win.
Oh, and they're just like that, the tide can turn. Fescue is landing a couple of big shots from side control. And Zoltan on his back for an extended period of time for the first time in this fight. And he's up against the cage. This is a very tough place to get away from.
Yeah, it's dangerous. You know, there's not really anywhere to go. You're trapped. Oh, big elbow to put Zoltan away.
My God, the viciousness of that knockout out of nowhere. The power of the lawn dad. Lonnie Fescue knocks out the all-seeing Zoltan with a mounted punch. You're right, it was an elbow, followed up by the right hand. Unnecessary, but again, pleasing Mr. Naga. And that, hit him right in that third eye on his forehead.
Yeah, that's going to disrupt a chakra.
No doubt about that. I don't know what sort of crystals are going to be needed to fix that, but Lonnie Fescue, 11 points, puts him back in contention in Group A because we have our later fight. Milgram and 42 the answer. One of them's going to be 2-1. If there's a winner, it's going to be interesting to see where Fescue falls. Nonetheless, we have 2 more fights to cover at this time. Coming up right now, of course, our main event, the last fight of Group A. We go to our final fight of Group B. Oliver Lehman has been pitching a shutout so far, 2-0, both first-round victories. He takes on Gabe Donaghy, coming off of a very impressive submission win in Episode 4. These two are getting ready to do battle. Will Lehman continue his winning ways, or can Donaghy impress in the biggest way? My apologies. I thought we were heading down to the fight. At the moment, we're going to talk a quick moment about telling you what's happening on October 11th. That doesn't seem like that's the right date. September 11th, next week, September 11th, we go back to the middleweights, and we've got a couple of big fights. The Tumor of Justice taking on Wilhelm Schrei, Gordon Wu, and Ken Dahl. That should be a very good one there. Dale Branston and Donnie Bay should be a good one. And we have President Jerome Glorioso take on Leon Pagliacci. Grover Fuppenberg facing Paradorm and our host, and Slovan Medovich versus Chet Lama. Lucille, the middleweight division has been very, very close. We haven't really seen anyone really emerge just yet. I think this could be a chance for some of those fighters to emerge.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Schrei, if I'm not mistaken, is I believe winless, and he's got a tough task ahead of him. The Tumor of Justice is extremely powerful and radiates confidence, gamma rays, all sorts of terrible things. You know, and looking at this card, I mean, Chet Lama, we just saw one Mystic Man in the All-Seeing Zoltan get taken out. Like to see if Lama can reverse that trend. You know, Fuppenberg has been solid. All these guys have put in some solid, serious work in this octagonal-like cage structure, and I think next week's going to be great. I mean, middleweights are one of my favorites. Good power, good speed. All these guys have impressed in their own way throughout this competition so far.
Yeah, just to let you know, Medovich and Lama are a battle between 0-2 fighters, and we've got a couple others that are kind of up against the wall, if you will. I believe the Tumor of Justice, again, Wilhelm Schrei is 0-2 as well. Looking over at a couple of the other fighters, I think the rest of them are 1-1. The Tumor of Justice on Group A on the left-hand side is the only fighter that is 2-0 in the middleweights in Group A. We've got 2 of them in Group B in this form of Glorioso and Paranorman. I'm just kind of looking to confirm that that's correct against my notes here. Yes, that is correct. So a lot of chances. 3 fighters could very easily push themselves with a lot of distance between them and their opponents. That is going to be next week. We've got 2 more fights coming up tonight. Right now, we go ahead to our final Group B battle. He's a master of puppets, and he is looking to ride another win after a huge submission victory over Damian Adder. Gabe Donaghy has shown tenacity. He's got a big challenge ahead of him. the strikes of Oliver Lehman can show just how effective being a debt collector for a bank can be. No one says it's a happy job. No one says they enjoy doing that. I can't imagine he would say that himself, but I will say that this is a very good way to get out some aggression or any sort of anger surrounding the job. That makes Oliver Lehman a very dangerous opponent. Will we see another first round victory? The odds makers would have to put it towards Lehman, but we can't discount Donaghy either.
Let's fight.
Absolutely not. I mean, Lehman does have a lot of, the size advantages, and I don't even want to get into what has he out of Subway here. So let's just see what's going on in this fight.
Yeah, I think that one made me a little uncomfortable. They go to the clinch, and I imagine any sort of clinch with Gabe Donaghy a bit uncomfortable as well. Lehman has a huge height and reach advantage, so this clinch would be optimal for Donaghy.
Donaghy landing some decent strikes at distance, though.
He's gonna have to work his way in and out to avoid the counters, and he gets a knockdown very quickly. Doesn't swarm very fast enough.
Nice hook to the body, but Lehman answers back with his own to the head.
Just actually getting some information. Do we want to know why he was not allowed in the subway anymore? It's not nearly as gross, but it is a little disturbing. He would order a sandwich. He would order a sandwich for one of his sock puppets, and then would have the sock puppet eat the entire thing at the subway, and it just freaked people out.
So he just kind of mashed up a sandwich with a sock hand, and just made a terrible mess.
Pretty much. I mean, I imagine the cleaning crew didn't like that. I imagine everyone else in the subway would either be weirded out by that. I can understand not being allowed back if you do that every time. I don't know if he even ordered anything for himself. I have no confirmation of that. But that is a very, that's an image you'll all have to live with, folks, as you enjoy the rest of this fight. 30 seconds to go, and I gotta say, Donaghy holding his own, creepy sock-eating habits aside.
I was about to say Donaghy was maybe winning this round based on that knockdown, but Lehman, battles back with one of his own in the closing seconds. So
it's gonna be a very close one to judge. Again, and I think this is going to be a credit to Donaghy, the first to go more than one round. There it is. There is the bell. The first to go a full round with Oliver Lehman, and Donaghy. Well, he's going to have a lot of talking with his corner. Fellow sock puppeteers, I believe.
Keep working.
I thought I saw a rumor that he was potentially training with Grover Fuppenberg, our middleweight puppet, non-sock variety enthusiast, but I could never confirm or deny that 100%.
Yeah, I think that was, if nothing else, that might have just been a networking opportunity as well. I mean, the Grover Fuppenberg, the creator of the Fuppets, granted they're not nearly as successful and well-known as the gang of marionette/puppet-like creatures that we all know about, that I'm afraid to even mention alongside the Fuppets. But
defense and offense at the same time. Okay?
Yeah, I guess that's still any sort of exposure is good exposure. And speaking of exposure, that was the right eye of Lehman was exposed to a fist, a couple of fists of Donaghy's.
Let's fight.
That eye might be a problem for him as it's swelling shut.
Yeah, that's definitely getting foreclosed pretty badly, Derek.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And nice. Oh, almost gets that head kick. Doesn't get it high enough. But he's going for it. I think Lehman might have just realized he needs to finish this fight quickly. Oh God!
Oh my God!
Diving in and reaching.
Dear Lord!
And just like that, it's over.
Never seen that before. That was incredible.
I don't even know how to describe that. But the man that the internet message boards are starting to call Optimus Subprime, Oliver Lehman, well, there might as well have been metal in those fists with the way he put an end to Gabe Donahue in such a fast fashion. Those punches were just completely unanswered. I think Donahue was so stunned by that. He dove. It was like almost like a diving Superman.
Yeah,
I'd never seen someone do that before.
a diving Superman punch as Donahue was trying to get up. He was not bracing for it. He was not prepared for any sort of impact. He thought he was safe essentially, and Lehman just crashed the market into Donahue's jaw, and those follow-up punches were very academic.
No doubt about that. Well, Lehman, without saying, goes to the top of the table in Group B. We'll have the breakdown of that after our final fight of the evening. Someone is going to end up 3-0 and sit atop Group A. Will it be Milgram? Will it be the answer? You know, I've yet to see a SoundCloud page when I've searched for Lil 42 the answer. I wonder if this is maybe just a fighter pseudonym, rap name, or if this is... I just don't know. Comes Fritz Milgram, one of the most impressive and dangerous heavyweights. TKO victories in second round fights with both Quadra Novolt and Lonnie Fescue. As we head to the tail of the tape, this is going to be a tasty matchup. Height is the same, the reach is the same. Milgram a little bit more weight than Lil 42 the answer. And, well, I don't know if we need to even talk about the subway order. I think that kind of tells you what you need to know.
I'll just say that based on the weigh-in results, though, Lil 42 apparently doesn't fucks with that cold cut combo all that much, being a good 20 pounds lighter than Milgram.
Perhaps he should a little bit more. Maybe we should go double meat on it.
Yeah, I've said it a bunch. You know, with heavyweights, you want to pack on the muscle, you want to pack on the heft to absorb some of these blows, because you know these guys are big, they're heavy, they got a lot of power behind them, and you don't want to skimp on absorbing those punches with your head.
Not about that, and again, Lil 42 the answer. Again, giving up 20 pounds to Milgram. You know, you would think he's got the height advantage. They're actually the same height. 42 the answer just looks like he towers over so many of his opponents, and I guess, but it does not work. And Milgram just brings down the voltage.
Big shots from Milgram, but
only a minute in.
Recovering well.
He's gone to guard. I don't know if that's just a survival tactic, if he's seen it. He seems like the kind of guy who would watch a lot of bum fight videos or backyard MMA fights.
Yeah, I kind of expect to find him on one of those weird, you know, reaction channels where it's just some random guy watching something they've never seen before and being impressed or not so impressed by it. I feel like that's something Lil 42 the answer would try to go after heavily.
He would probably rap over it. I'm sure he would try to rap over it. But,
Yeah.
no doubt. There was I can't remember the name of it. There was a MMA promotion that literally ran out of someone's backyard. There was no mat. They just kind of had fence. I say it was a promotion. It really wasn't. It was just kind of like a. But that's what I feel like he would watch a lot of. But he's really just effectively putting some ground and pound to Milgram.
Yeah, big shots from both men. In this first round. Milgram, Joe. Just you see that extra 30 pounds is really just damaging 42 the answer.
He is getting amped up, no doubt. There is just so much juice running through his veins, and he is taking the back of the answer, who slides out the back door. And just in time for the end of the first round. A lot of action. You got to feel like this one's not going the distance.
It doesn't feel that way. There've been plenty of fights in the history of mixed martial arts where, two heavy hitters have a quick, high-paced first round, and then the gas tank just drops out, and both men just kind of circle for the remainder. And it's very disappointing to all involved. But at least in this fight, if that happens, it won't take long.
Certainly true there. I had a note passed to me by one of the interns that the promotion I was referring to was Street Beefs. And I feel like Street Beef would be a title of an album by Lil 42 The Answer, so maybe we're onto something a little bit here.
You listen to me? Finish every combination with a kick. Keep the weight.
Nonetheless, round two, I guess, that was two knockdowns for Milgram, one knockdown for The Answer. I'd have to give that to Milgram, but just barely.
Let's go, guys. Fight.
Absolutely. Milgram's, he's definitely got more power. Lil 42's gonna have to use his speed in this one, which typically you don't say that about a guy who towers into 6'6", but he just got dropped again.
Really looking strong, like a strong Milgram win is almost an inevitability, but 42 The Answer has been surprising before.
Oh, big ground and pound. Milgram is looking to finish this one. 42 has really impressed me with his toughness, his ability to absorb punishment and keep on fighting. In this bout, when he maybe overdoses in his garage studio, just all sorts of places where 42 has battled back.
He's going for an armbar. It's surprising. I think he's just been so dominant with the strikes that Milgram going for the submission. They might have just given the opening for 42 The Answer to start taking charge of this. And goes for a submission of his own. Well, I think 42 The Answer did in fact get a submission. No, I take that back. He did not get a submission victory. He won his fight by TKO and knockout. He's showing he's got a bit of versatility from when he's watched his street beef or bum fights.
Absolutely. This is he's very bad at protecting his chin, though. His striking defense is extremely terrible.
Yeah, he's just leading with his chin. They always talk about it. They say it in boxing, especially when you punch with your chin out. That's just asking for a hook to knock you out. And you can see a counter like that from a southpaw Milgram. That straight left hand. 20 seconds to go. We could be seeing a third round. I might be eating my words here when I said I couldn't imagine this going to a decision. But both fighters look very game for this one.
Yeah, I mean, with the amount of damage Lil 42 took in this round, though, I'm surprised he's making it to this second round bell.
Oh my God!
He didn't! My God!
What an explosive lead hook from Fritz Milgram.
I think he caught him with the point of the elbow.
That is a scary, scary knockout. Let's see it again on the replay.
I think the fist missed and the elbow. Nope. My mistake. Still, though, devastating power.
I'm just kind of in shock at this point. It did look like the way his fist kind of turned in. Turns out it just kind of got jammed on the jaw. And I don't know if there's going to be any rapping from Lil 42, the answer right now. He is still down. That is not looking good.
Yeah, I mean, Kanye West already did the do a song with your jaw wired shut gimmick. I don't think Lil 42 can try and mimic that.
Wow, what a win. Well, Fritz Milgram has shown that he is a very dangerous opponent for anyone. And well, let's review what we've seen tonight. We saw a lot of great fights, a lot of great finishes. I don't think a single fight went to a decision. We saw 5 knockouts and TKOs, 1 submission. Let's go over Group A first. Lucille, any of these fights really stick out to you? Obviously, we had Milgram with the knockout, Fescue back to his winning ways, and Volt getting his first win in the TKO. Any of them impress you the most?
I mean, I don't know about impressed. I mean, I'm glad for Volt to get his win. I mean, it's hard to be really impressed against with it coming against Polka, who has not shown much of anything in these 3 fights. Milgram, though, I mean, I had Lil 42 the answer as a guy who I thought would clear out Group A, but Milgram's power was just too much. And Fescue had, he had some trouble, but he battled back against the all-seeing Zoltan, and he got it done in the second. That's a good solid win for Fescue.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting setup as we get to again October 9th will be episode 10. That is when we will see these heavyweights do battle yet again. As we see the standings, Fescue jumps ahead of Lil 42 the answer, but look in the bottom left. That is the next battle. That could easily tell us who is going to make the semifinals. I'm assuming Milgram does not slip up. Milgram's got Polka in his next fight. We have to maybe assume that's a win. Volt and Zoltan.
Preemptively. Sorry,
Yeah,
I was just saying I'm preemptively pouring out a glass of eggnog for Polka for this next fight.
That might be ugly. That might be an ugly one from what we've seen. And looking forward just a little bit further. Again, it could that Fescue and 42 the answer fight could determine who joins Milgram in the semifinals. Let's head over to Group B. We saw Oliver Lehman continuing his winning ways, Damian Adder with his first win over Guff Magnuson, and Dan Rodenta knocking out Dr. Igor Tonic, giving him his first loss. And the way that shapes up the heavyweight standings, well, it's Tonic and Rodenta still in second and third. Lehman starting to get a little bit of distance. And we're seeing some interesting battles. Magnuson has Lehman. Again, that's an 0-3 versus a 3-0. But again, we've seen a little bit more out of Magnuson than we have with Polka. I think that's a tougher 0-3 to go up against for Lehman. But some interesting performances in Group B. Any of them kind of sticking out to you?
I mean, Lehman, of course, this tonight was outstanding as usual. Donaghy and the Laws, I mean, he impressed me just by lasting the full first round. Adder with his submission victory, that was good to see. Tonic losing is a surprise, but I think he's gonna get back to his winning ways, and I think Tonic and Lehman's going to be a good matchup whenever that happens.
Well, should it happen, Tonic versus Lehman would be it would be the final fight of the group stage. That's, again, I think for fighters like Tonic, Rodenta, even Donnie, every fight is kind of must win at this point. I mean, it is no matter what, but it's just so tight that you're seeing, again, we could see 4 fighters at 2-2 if the right results happen. And that's just a very scary thought with just one fight to go after that. You got to hope that fighters like Tonic and Rodenta want to take that win, take that 2-1 record and push it to 3-1. But nonetheless, that is going to be it. Well, what a day it has been. what a night of fights we've seen. And again, thank you again, Lucille Cramble-Corn, for joining me. It's been great. We see the middleweights back in action next week. I believe that is, there we go, there they are. It's again September 11th. That's next Wednesday. That is the middleweight card you'll see. I believe, I'm not entirely certain what will be our main event. I have to look at my notes for a second. Yes, I believe Glorioso versus Pagliacci will be the main event of that one. And that's going to be an interesting battle. I think we might see something a little special out of those two fighters.
Yeah, that's going to be a great fight to have in the main event. I'm sure it's going to deliver a lot of great action. Glorioso and Pagliacci are top fighters in Global MEGAfist 12.
That is going to be it for us tonight. We'd like to thank you, as always, for joining us here on IRM for Global MEGAfist 12. This has been a great night of fights. My name is Derek Osceola. I'd like to thank Lucille Cramble-Corn, as always, in the commentary booth with me. Joining us here, we had a great night of heavyweight action. Next week, 9 p.m. Eastern, on this very channel, we go to the middleweight division and we see how they will fare with their third round of group fights. It's going to be a big one. It's been a bunch of knockouts and one submission tonight. We can only hope for the same next week. We thank Most Glorious and Honorable Mr. Naga. May he live for 10,000 years. Praise be to Naga for this production. I'm Derek Osceola. This has been Global MEGAfist 12. We will see you next week.